For the best meat you have ever eaten in your life, go to samsbutchershop.com. Enter the coupon code Triple T when you check out for a 10% discount. Hey everybody, I hope you're well. My microphone has bit the dust. I don't know why it's not working, so I hope you can hear me okay. I think I'll be loud enough. You can hear me. I just get better sound quality with a microphone, but for whatever reason, it's just working. I guess I'll have to get a new one. And you might notice that I'm back in the old rolling studio. I'm inside the camper right now, and I'm planning on hooking up today, later this morning, actually, and I'm going to take off for a camping trip over to Georgia. And I'll take you along with me. I'll be able to shoot over there as well. And I'm planning to post some bonus footage of the campground as well. And a special visit to the home place of my maternal grandparents. I'm looking forward to it. So a little bonus footage for you. Anyway, I want to get going. I got a lot to talk about. So I hope everyone had a great weekend. It's been... we spend a lot of time speculating on what's going to happen politically. With the election, it's down to Biden versus Trump, and, we're all kind of crossing our fingers. What's going to happen? Is Trump going to win? Is Trump going to be allowed to win? A lot of speculation out there. I have maintained that if we get to the finish line in November, and it is actually Trump versus Biden, if there is any semblance of fair play whatsoever, this should be an easy win for Trump. That's my take on it. But of course, we all know what happened in 2020. I don't know if anything's changed since 2020 in terms of how we tabulate the votes. So if something similar happens that happened back in 20 happens again, nobody should be surprised, right? I don't know why it wouldn't shock me at all. At any rate, something is, in my opinion, afoot. And I mentioned a couple of things I want to talk about today in my last video, but I really need to revisit them because I've gotten more information that I think is relevant and pertinent to the situation at hand. This first situation dealing with what's happening with regard to the election of the next president. As we said, it's going to be either Trump or Biden. It's not going to be Kennedy. It's not going to be anybody else. These are our choices, Trump or Joe Biden. So let's say for just a moment, let's speculate for just a moment and say that Trump wins in November. Something that I hope he does. I hope happens, and I think most of you that watch me probably hope happens as well. Trump was not my preferred candidate. He was certainly not my first choice. I don't have TDS one way or another. I don't hate Donald Trump. I ain't completely in love with Donald Trump. At times he drives me nuts. But as compared to Biden, obviously there is simply no choice. It's Trump or bust at this point. But what do you think, if you sat around and speculated for a while, what do you think may happen? Is it possible that Trump will win this election but not become president? And I maintain, folks, that everything is on the table and nothing should surprise us. Nothing the deep state has up their sleeve should surprise any of us. And I want to present for you, for your consideration, a possible scenario that maybe a few months ago I might have found completely far-fetched, but maybe it isn't so far-fetched, and I want to present it to you and see what you think about it. Let's just say there was an attorney that posted this on Twitter, by the way, and it got me to thinking. What goes into this story is this spate of so many Republicans resigning from Congress. Ken Buck in Colorado resigned from Congress. George Santos was basically forced out of Congress a few months back. And now in the last few days, we have had another Republican in Wisconsin to announce he was leaving, and immediately. And this has happened several times. A lot of Republican congressional representatives are suddenly vacating their seats and leaving. What's going on? I don't recall this ever happening. From time to time, you may have a congressperson resign, but this has been a rash of Republican congressional representatives just up and resigning, just leaving. Okay, we're done. I mean, this just doesn't happen as a normal order of sequence. This doesn't happen. Once they get in office, if anything, it's almost impossible to get rid of them, no matter what party they're aligned with. But them voluntarily giving up their seat, it's got to raise some eyebrows, don't you think? Doesn't it make you a little curious that all these Republicans are resigning their seats before the election? It's very strange, don't you think? What's causing this? What's going on? What's behind the scenes? Is it possible? Is it possible, and all I can do, ladies and gentlemen, is speculate that they are being given some sort of incentive to leave their offices early? Now, the upshot of all this is that the Republican majority in the House of Representatives was already razor thin. It's very close in terms of Republicans versus Democrats. So the Republicans currently have the majority here on the 25th of March, a Monday. They have the majority, but barely. But I don't remember what it is. If another one or two leave Congress, if another one or two GOP lawmakers leave, that's going to throw the House to the Democrats. It's unbelievable what's happening. This is not random. I maintain this is not by chance. This is not by accident. I believe, and remember, I am a conspiracy theorist. I admit it. I believe something is askew and something is afoot. And I believe these people, such as Ken Buck, are being given incentives to leave office early. Now, if that's the case, because what else makes sense? And if that's the case, the question would be why? Why is there someone somewhere or something somewhere or some entity somewhere that is trying to get rid of Republicans in Congress to give power to the Democrats? Why is that? Could we just play a game of speculation here real quick? Let's assume that another one or two GOP lawmakers leaves Congress before the November election. And this throws leadership of the House to the Democrats. So the Democrats have the majority in the House. The Democrats already have the majority in the Senate. And then we have the election and Trump wins. What happens then? This is where this scenario kicks in. I want you to listen to this and think about it for a moment. Number one, the Democrats take control of the House of Representatives. Number two, the Democrats, now in control of the House, pass a Trump is an insurrectionist bill. Number three, the Democratic-controlled Senate passes this bill. Number four, where does the bill go then? It goes to the desk of the occupant of the White House, who signs it into law. And number five, at that point, Donald Trump, now essentially convicted as an insurrectionist, is removed from the 24 ballot. I got ahead of myself. He doesn't win. He is removed from the 24 ballot, a move that is supported by the United States Supreme Court. I got my timeline a little off there. Let's say the Democrats take control of the House, which is getting to be more and more a very real scenario. So before the election, the Democrats take control of the House, then they pass this Trump is an insurrectionist bill. It goes to the Senate, where the Democratic Senate approves it. Then it goes to the desk of Joe Biden, who signs it, and Trump is removed from the ballot. Does this sound far-fetched to you? Folks, I'm going to tell you, a few months ago, I would have said that would never happen. But you know what? Where we are now in America, where we have lost our collective minds, I have to tell you, nothing would surprise me. And something like this happening would not surprise me. Could it happen? Could it happen? Yeah, it could happen. What happens then? Trump is removed from the ballot. So then the GOP is scrambling to get a nominee on the ballot, right? Could it be little neocon Nikki Haley or somebody else or some milquetoast Mitt Romney, John McCain-like candidate that they run against Biden, a candidate that both parties would be fine with, a uniparty candidate? Do you think this is possible? Comment down below what you think about this scenario, this little theory I've worked up here, and tell me how plausible you believe it is. I think it's absolutely plausible. Now, I don't know whether it's going to happen. Maybe it will not, and I hope it does not. But I believe something like this absolutely could happen. Folks, you cannot underestimate how much the deep state loathes Donald Trump. They are trying every trick in the bag to destroy this man. I believe, and I have said for months, they will stop at nothing. And that shoe fits this scenario, does it not? I really would like to hear your ideas. Tell me down below what you think about that and whether you believe that is something that could happen and what you think we should do if it does happen. All right, let me move on. I gotta do a follow-up on what I covered the other day about the squatter problem. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds here. I watched the last video if you don't know what I'm talking about. I talked about all these squatters in Atlanta and really nationwide that are moving into homes. The owners go away on vacation, or they may just go to the store for a gallon of milk, and when they come back, somebody's taken over their home and they can't get rid of them. I dealt more about it in that video. But this is a problem, ladies and gentlemen, and what I did not touch on the other day is simply this. This is not a random occurrence, this squatter's problem. This is something that is happening around the nation, and this does not just happen. This isn't just some homeless hobos who all at once decided to go and be squatters in people's homes. This is a problem that has just recently cropped up and around the nation, which leads me to believe that this is organized, that there are some NGOs out there behind this, NGOs, non-governmental organizations, who are organizing these people to go in and seize people's properties. Does this reek of Marxism? Marxists are against the ownership of private property. Did you know that? Isn't it interesting when you start tying these loose ends together that today, Monday, March the 25th, I believe it is, Letitia James has vowed to start seizing Donald Trump's personal property in New York. I don't know if it's going to be Trump Tower. I don't know if it's going to be Trump National Golf Club in Westchester County. But she has vowed to start seizing his assets on Monday morning. Now, to go back in time, Trump was convicted without a jury, as you know, in Judge Arthur Scrooge Engeron's court, who then levied a fine in excess of $350 million on Donald Trump, completely unconstitutional, levied by a bona fide, devoted, well-documented Trump hater in Judge Engeron and Letitia James, who vowed with her bullhorn before her elected, just get me elected and I'm going to nail Donald Trump to the wall. And now she's just been on this vendetta, and now she wants to seize his property. This is what Marxists do. And this ties in, if you ask me, with the squatter problem. And I maintain that this is an NGO organized effort to absolutely transform our country. The seizing of people's private property. Somebody comes to my property and they squat in my house, and I come home and find them there, and I have, let's say, no way of dealing with it, and I've got no support from local law enforcement. It wouldn't be the case here, but in some places it is. Certainly the case in Fulton County, Georgia, where Letitia James resides. There's nothing you can do. You just had your property seized by squatters, and this is happening all over America. 1,200 homes in Fulton County, Georgia. That's Atlanta. But it's happening in Los Angeles. It's happening in cities and counties all over America. I am telling you, this is organized. This is not coincidental. Somebody is behind this. And in New York, the marquee case of property seizing of private property is being done by Letitia James in New York, who by all accounts is just going to go in and take Donald Trump's Trump Tower away from him, or Westchester County Golf Club away from him. Boom, just like that. Guess what? You don't own it anymore. It's ours now. Can you believe it? In the United States of America, somebody just comes and takes your property while you're looking the other way, and it ain't yours no more. And you try and get your property back, but you're just SOL. It ain't yours no more. Now, I want to contrast that with what has happened. You're going to love this story. This happened last week in Santa Rosa County, Florida. Santa Rosa County, Florida is on the Panhandle. It is in the Pensacola, Florida area, beautiful area of Florida. And after I tell you this story, you may just want to move down there. There is a man in Santa Rosa County, Florida, by the name of Brandon Joseph Harris. He is 32 years old. He has been arrested. He has a rap sheet a mile long. He's been arrested 17 times. He just can't quit breaking into people's homes. He breaks into people's homes. He gets arrested. He does his time, and he gets out of jail, and he just goes right back to breaking into people's homes again. 17 times this guy has been arrested. He has broken into multiple homes in the town of Pace, P-A-C-E, Pace, Florida, which is 15 miles north of Pensacola. Well, recently, old Brandon Harris picked the wrong home to burgle. Brandon Harris broke into a home where he was met with gunfire. The bad news is the homeowner happens to be a terrible shot, and he missed. Brandon breaks into the home. The owner is there. He takes his weapon. He shoots at the intruder, but he misses. So Santa Rosa County, Florida Sheriff Bob Johnson, God bless you, Bob Johnson. You're going to love this man. Bob Johnson went before the media in Pensacola, and he said this. Listen up closely. I quote. He's speaking here of Brandon Harris. I quote, "As to the person, we don't know which homeowner shot at him. I guess they think they did something wrong, which they did not. If someone is breaking into your house, you're more than welcome to shoot them in Santa Rosa County. We prefer you do that, actually. So whoever that was, you're not in trouble. Come see us. We have a gun safety class that we put on every other Saturday. And if you take that, you'll shoot a lot better. And hopefully you'll save the taxpayers money," unquote. Is that just not a fantastic story? Bob Johnson, Sheriff Bob Johnson of Santa Rosa County, Florida. I'm telling you, I want to pack up and move there right now. How about you? That's the kind of sheriff we need. That's the kind of sheriff you need wherever you live. This sheriff is saying, well, the bad news is the homeowner shot him, but he missed. Buddy, you're not in trouble. We prefer you shoot somebody that's invading your home. You'll save the taxpayers a lot of money. And then, by the way, since you're such a bad shot, come see us. We give gun safety classes every other Saturday. We'll teach you how to shoot better than that. Bob Johnson, God bless you, my friend. I wish you watched this video. My hat is off to you, Sheriff Bob Johnson. I love you, man. I wish we could clone you and put you in political office all over the country. Is that not just fantastic? That is the polar opposite of Letitia James, is it not? We've still got some people down here, folks, that have got their brains in their skull. God bless that man. I'm telling you, that made my day when I heard that. Steve Baker is a reporter for Blaze TV. That's Glenn Beck's outfit. On January the 6th, Steve Baker he is a journalist, and he was reporting from the Capitol on January 6th. Now get this scene. Everybody knows what happened. Everybody that's paying attention knows what happened in Washington on January the 6th. They also know what did not happen on January the 6th. And journalist, reporter Steve Baker was there doing his job, reporting on the activities. He was not involved in one way or another. He was not there to support Donald Trump. He was not there to protest Donald Trump. He was there to report, right? He's just an interested observer. He's there, ostensibly with his recording equipment or whatever the journalists use, reporting on the scene. He's observing. He's watching. He's looking for news, looking for things he can report on. He's not a participant. Well, he was caught on camera by the freaking BI. And to make a long story short, Steve Baker has been arrested for participating in the January the 6th so-called insurrection. They notified Steve Baker he was going to be arrested. He met the FBI. They put handcuffs on him. They put chains around his ankles, and they attached the chain to a chain that was wrapped around his waist. Your FBI, if you're an American, did that to Steve Baker. You know what drives me crazy, even crazier about this story? It's Donald Trump who said, we're going to build a big, beautiful new FBI building in Washington. Seriously, Don? Are you kidding me, partner? We don't need a new FBI building, Mr. Trump. What we need is the abolition of same. This journalist was arrested and hogtied, basically, by the FBI and charged with aiding and abetting there at the so-called insurrection on January the 6th. Now, I mention this for this particular reason. I have heard so many people, both in the mainstream media and just people at random, who have referred to Donald Trump as an authoritarian and a dictator. And you've heard it too, many of you. Oh, if we put Trump back in office, the gloves will be off and he's going to be a dictator. He's going to be an authoritarian. We're all going to lose our rights. We won't be able to do anything anymore. Remember the recent conversation I cited between the lunatic actor Robert De Niro, who was talking to the lunatic Bill Maher, and they were just commiserating together about how bad it's going to be if Trump gets elected, and they both referred to him as an authoritarian and Trump as a dictator, and he'll never leave office. Steve Baker was arrested by Joe Biden's FBI. Peter Navarro was just sent to jail by Joe Biden's FBI. It was Joe Biden who has charged his opponent with all sorts of crimes. That would be Donald Trump. It's Biden who has done all these things. Now, you tell me who is the authoritarian. You tell me who is the dictator. Who puts their political opponents in jail? Is it Hitler? Is it Pol Pot? Is it Mussolini? Is it Mao Zedong? Is it any of these people? Yes, it is those people. And it's Joe effing Biden, ladies and gentlemen. So you tell me who the authoritarian is. You tell me who the dictator is. Steve Baker is now facing, I don't know what. He's been arrested. He's been released, but he's got to go to court. He's been charged with crimes. He's got to defend himself. You can be a media member in America, but you can't do it in the mainstream media. Isn't that right, Tucker Carlson? Last week, the feckless, worthless, currently GOP-held House of Representatives passed another spending bill, $1.8 trillion, because we had to keep the government open, don't you know? This is Speaker Mike Johnson, who said they're on recess now. They voted for this thing, then they got out of town, right? Mike Johnson said the first thing we're going to pick up as soon as we get back into town is foreign aid. Why did we get rid of Kevin McCarthy? Why did we get rid of Nancy Pelosi, for heaven's sakes? What would Nancy Pelosi have done that was any worse than what Mike Johnson just did? This good, conservative, evangelical Christian from Louisiana. I am so sick of these people. Good old Marjorie Taylor Greene has already said that she's going to seek the resignation of the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. And of course, I applaud her doing that. But folks, who are you going to replace him with? They're not going to get rid of him, but who's left? There's only a few Marjorie Taylor Greenes, that is to say, a Republican with a spine that happens to be a woman, and God bless you, MTG. There's so few. There's Matt Gaetz. There's Thomas Massey. Maybe Chip Roy of Texas, but there's just a handful. And with Republicans dropping like flies and leaving Congress, if a couple more leave, it's over. The Democrats take control, and that puts into play my possible scenario. It seems to me there's a growing chance every day that Donald Trump may not take up the White House, may not enter the White House again. I don't know. I do know these people are desperate, and I believe they will stop at nothing. Give me a thumbs up on this video if you would. I would greatly appreciate that. And subscribe to the old Triple T if you have not done so yet. Give me your comments down below. I appreciate it. I got to get out in the woods, clear my head, and have a little bit of fun. I'll shoot some video while I'm there and visit with you all. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. This is Trailer Trash Tim. I'll see you soon.